business or this business in regard to recruiting would be to provide a qualified and motivated employees, hopefully that's you, to ensure that the candidate or candidates are effectively and efficiently integrated into Australia. So we don't want you just to be dropped there, we want you to actually feel like you were born there, if that makes sense. Okay? That's going to be hard to do. That the applicants receive excellent remuneration or pay, experience a high quality experience work in a high quality establishment, and have a support resource whilst in Australia. So we'll have people who you can go to if there's a problem, if that makes sense. So we don't want you to feel isolated like an island. Obviously, you're in any work relationship, your first call is your line manager, and then you've got external people that can assist you as well. So, and ultimately, all parties have a high level of satisfaction. So obviously the employer or the restaurateur is my immediate customer, they're paying the money, but you guys will be secondary, and obviously, you know, we want you guys to be successful so I can actually come back to the school and take another batch, okay? Because it'd be fair to say if the first group have a really bad experience, it's not going to be a very good advertisement for this process. So that's why we're taking a little bit longer and hopefully try and get it right. Okay. Some of the things that we will be doing is obviously candidate selection. There'll be a short list of candidates which we'll use the Dorian or Carla from the Austin campus. They'll get shortlisted based on, if it was here, Dorian would know strengths and weaknesses, what your personalities might be like. I'll try and provide a general overview of what the restaurateur is like. Obviously it's pretty hard to do, but we'll do the best we can. We'll then coordinate interviews via Skype. And then, you know, obviously as we get further down to there might be some reference checks. Before you can come to Australia, there has to be police checks anyway, as with any standard immigration. Same thing when I immigrated here. I was a resident alien, so I know the process. It's similar but reversed. And then obviously we'll make a verbal offer to the successful candidate, and then if the candidate accepts, then you get a written, formalised contract. And there'll be no hidden things in there. You'll know exactly whether you've got a 1-year commitment or a 2-year commitment. Some employees might want for 2 years. It just, to me, it just means that they're going to invest 2 years of their time in a better experience. That's how I'm hoping you guys will view it that way. Okay, it just shows their commitment to you. So it's a two-way street there. So that's the service I'll be providing to the employer, to you guys. Obviously, you'll get a formal letter of offer of employment, which will be a signed contract. We'll book the flights. We can coordinate the flights for you. Accommodation will be arranged, so you've got a place to stay for the first 4 weeks. We'll facilitate the health insurance, so you just know, we'll make sure that's in place before you get there. You'll be met at the airport. You'll be formally introduced to the employer, and we'll have an induction program for you, which was the feedback we got from Doreen. And there'll be a key list of contacts, and there will be some government contacts there as well. So that's what we're attempting to do. Any questions on that?
I guess is the projected cost of living within that year for a contract?
Let's see, well, top of my head I don't know. I can work it out for you and send it through based on what I know they're going to tax you. The cost, I don't know what you pay here, so what's your weekly outgoings here? Or do you do it by monthly?
I'd say monthly. I'm not
So
sure. I just moved here not too long ago, so I'm still figuring that out myself.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I can do a cost thing. So would monthly, is that how everyone plans their bills, monthly?
Yeah.
Okay. I can give you an indicative price of, I'll base it on Melbourne.
Yeah.
Most cities are either going to be plus or minus 5% of that. Perth costs a little bit more, Sydney a bit more. Melbourne would be number 3, Adelaide's cheapest, Brisbane's number 4 in line, I guess. Okay. But initially it's probably going to be So obviously you're just talking about electricity and utilities.
Yeah, just
talking
like
about
in general.
that. Yeah. I would imagine food would probably, at the grocery store for one person, would only be maybe 100, 120 a week. Not including alcohol. I think that's fairly pricey. Medical, I can tell you, will be $90 a month. Okay, it's $89 and some change, and that'll cover pretty much everything. There's no, they have a rebate system, so if you went to a doctor for, say, a chest infection, you would get treatment. Depending on, we have what's called bulk billing. You don't pay anything, but you might have to wait longer.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you pay, you might pay, say, $60 and you'll get 45 back. Okay, so your insurance pays for the gap. Okay, so it's way less than what it is here. Well, I can only speak for LA and the West Coast.
Yeah.
But here, because it's a quite litigious community, the doctor, even if you're going with a chest problem, they're going to do an X-ray, they're going to do an ankle scan, they're going to do this whole list of blood work and all that, and it's $280.
Yeah.
Okay, it just wouldn't happen down there unless they really believe there's something not quite right. Okay, I can put something together for you. That, but I think it's going to be. I think you'll find it's going to be apples and apples.
Not like about the same probably around here, maybe just a little different area.
I think it'll be more than this because this is not a major city. It's going to be more like an LA cost.
Okay.
The biggest, one of the big expenses in Australia is if you have a car and need to run a car. Vehicles cost more and the petrol costs more and the service costs more. But if you're a person that is comfortable living in an inner city area and using public transport, I think you'll find that the cost of living is actually less.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you toss in a car, because you for $15,000 you don't get much for a car there. Anything less than that, it's hit and miss. You know, and here, well, in LA, $15,000 will be a second-hand Cadillac or something.
Yeah.
Okay? So you probably get a fairly running car in LA for, let's say, maybe $5,000, $4,000. That's not beat up.
Yeah.
In Australia, you would. I don't think they sell beat up cars anyway because they have to go through the road tests. But you probably wouldn't. I wouldn't put my kids in a car less than $10,000.
Yeah.
To give you a point of reference. So, okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
This is some of the questions that I won't ask you now, but just give you a feel of what the questions when you know if it comes to the point that we won't be talking about qualifications, and that initially it's going to be about personality, okay, and how you react to certain conditions, and it would be standard interviewing for any role, any industry, whether it be retail or hospitality. The only person that will ask you a culinary question will be when you're on that second interview, where the owner wants to know how do you do this, okay? And they may not ask it, okay? But my assumption is that you guys will know the answer to that, okay?
Hopefully.
Okay. This is where the human HR departments try and don't catch you out in the light. They just try and get you out of your comfort zone with how you answer. And I'll just give you a scenario, and these are quite simple. There can be some real tough ones. Usually they start with tell me about yourself, okay, and that's where you just say, give a brief overview of who you are and what you are and where you come from. And then that'll lead them into, okay, why did you want to become a chef or cook, pastry, baker, okay, and then you'll go through that. Do you have any relevant work experience now? In some cases your only work experience might be here, okay, there'll be some candidates that work part-time at that restaurant we just ate at or something like that. So if you've got anything that's relevant, you really want to shout it, okay? Because that's going to be a big bonus for you, okay? And then why do you want to work in Australia? Now, the first thing most people will say is because they're going to pay good money. I would recommend that answer, okay? Just look for other reasons, okay? Because this is an industry, as you well know, is more about passion than reward. And reward is your passion. So dig deep and find out a passionate reason why you want to do this.
That
Okay.
sounded like a pretty good answer.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Gut feel straight away because the money's there.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't jump in with the money. Okay. That's for you to know, and they know how much they're paying you. So, is this helpful, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. This is something that I'm assuming that Dorian's group would give you here before you go in the workforce there. So I'm giving you a heads up what I'm going to ask you. Okay. And then all the niceties kind of disappear. Okay. That's when they start to drill down. And classic one would be what motivates you. Okay. So you've got to have to dig deep. What motivates you? Okay. Once again, it should never ever be money. Okay. We know money's always a consideration, but money, it can't be about money. Okay. Even though we know it is, it has to be something else. Other things like how do you like to be managed or supervised? Some people with self-starters left alone. Other people need, I want to make sure I do everything right. I need instruction, etc. Okay. So that's something you'll need to answer. Okay. What brings the best out in you? Now, you're almost the same question, okay, but just drilling a little bit deeper, okay? What makes you better? Okay, if you get managed this way and you like that way, what gets the best out of you? Is it by them saying, great job? Or is it them yelling at you? Or is it by giving you responsibility or whatever? And then it segues into where we can establish whether you're a team player. How do you motivate others? Okay, so that will give an indication of, your teamwork capabilities. Okay, so now these might change, but the general consensus that's if you're looking, it's basically a personality profiling that you're after. Your work ethic. You can't train, you can't go to school to learn about how to work hard and work with others. Okay, you can have all the skills and and want to work on your own. Well, that's great if you want to run your own restaurant, but eventually you're going to need help. Okay? And then what are your career goals? Where do you see yourself in 3, 5 and 10 years? These are very standard questions. How would your teacher or your peers describe you? Now, sometimes an interviewer will ask the question, how would you describe yourself? You go through that whole process, and then the very next question is, how would your supervisor describe you? And then there's usually oh my God, okay, so I'm going to have to recant what, this is what I think I am, but this is what they think I am, okay? Sometimes there's a difference. Hopefully there's not, okay? And then of course confrontation. Have you ever been involved in confrontation with a supervisor or